1, 2, 3. Hey everybody, I'm Jeff Schneider, and in today's video, I'm going to break down the groove that I just played. Now this groove is kind of in the key of F major, but we move around a lot. We're actually starting on a G flat major 9 chord. Right there, we have the bass line is actually, that's kind of the main cell for the bass line. We go 1, 5, 1, but then in the right hand, I'm playing the 9, the 3, the 5, and then there's the 7 up there. After that G flat major 9 chord, we're going to G minor 11, so chromatic up in the bass. And my right hand voicing is going to be 9, 3, 11, and then there's the 7 on top. It's a flat 7. Again, the bass line is going to do a similar pattern. We're going 1, 5, 1. So it sounds like this. It's kind of the same thing, just instead of major, we're going minor and up a half step. Okay, from there, we have this chord. This is A flat 7 with an added 13. You could even call this A flat 13, or A flat minor 13 rather. It's a minor chord. There's the main shell right there. That's the root in the left hand, and there's flat 7, flat 3, and that F up there is the 13 on an A flat minor 13 chord. I think the bass line does the same thing. Let me play it. It doesn't do the same thing. It actually does this. So it goes A flat, E flat, D flat. And then we're going to go down to this D flat 7 chord with the 9 on top. So that's what's happening there. I'll play the whole thing. So that's kind of like a 2-5 because the A flat minor going to D flat 7, that's a classic 2-5 right there, but we're not going to go to the 1. We're not going to go, what would the 1 chord be, by the way? If we have A flat as the 2 and D flat as the 5, the 1 chord would be G flat. We'd be going back to G flat major, but we're not going to do that. By the way, we're going to talk more about the analysis, the functions behind these chords later on in the video. First, I just want to get the chords out of the way, and then we'll move on to the reasons why I wrote them. So we're going to the D flat. There's that bass line again, 1, 5, 1 on the D flat 7 chord. And after that, we're going to, here's the modulation. Here we go. We're on C minor. This isn't C minor. This is kind of a C sus chord. Or you could call it G minor over C, G minor 7 over C. But really, it's C9 sus. You have the C down there. There's the 5, the flat 7, the 9, and there's the sus 4. So it's C9 sus. Followed by F major 9. So we're actually we're ending a half step lower than where we began. We started here and we're ending here, at least for this first section. So it all sounds like this. Notice on the C chord, our favorite 1-5-1 bass line is present there as well. Okay, now comes the little hook. The bass line part breaks away from that basic pattern, and we have this. So it goes back to the top after that F major 9. We get back to the top by playing this in the melody. Now notice I'm using my 3rd finger and my 4th finger to play that C and D. So this is 3, 4. And that's going to make it easier for me to get to this voicing here. This is what I'm playing in the right hand for the G flat major 9 chord. So that little pickup is what's going to get us back to the top. Just like before. And now we break away. Instead of repeating it again, then we're going to take the same idea and move it down a minor third. So if we were on F major, we're going to go down a minor third to D major. And my voicing in the right hand is not going to do a direct transposition like this. Although that does sound cool, what I'm going to do instead is keep my hand kind of in the same area. So here's my F major 9 voicing. Here's my D major 9 voicing. So I don't really have to move my hand that much, and the voice leading is great, and I have this common tone of an E on top of both chords. So the left hand bass line is the same pattern on the D major chord. This is 1, 5, 2, 3, 7. But then on the second time of that D major, we do this extra little transition, and that's what's going to get us back to the F major. So I'm going to put the B section together here, and I think that'll help it make more sense. So here we go with the F major, D major, transition, back to F major, D major. Now this time we're going to do, I guess it's like a C section, but it's very short. So this is F major, E flat major, D flat major. Just going down in whole steps. And you can do any voicing you want, really. I mean, I like this voicing, it sounds nice. Maybe on the D flat major 7 you could add in that 13 there, or keep the 5. You can do anything you want for that D flat major chord at the end. And after that, we're doing this line. What was it? Yeah, kind of reminds me of Superstition, Stevie Wonder. But anyway, this is what it sounds like all together. Goes back to the top if you want to loop it. It's a nice little vamp. So let's talk a little bit more about why these chords work together. There's not always going to be a direct theoretical reason, but let's do the best we can. So the first 3 chords have the same note in the melody, or the top voice, whatever you want to call it. And that helps link them together. So you can have chords that don't necessarily make sense with theoretical rules, but if you have common tones that tie them together, you can get away with it, and it sounds good because there's sort of that common thread between 3 disjunct types of harmony. Now, as we said, the A flat to the D flat is a pretty classic 2-5, and then we do a head fake, and instead of resolving to a G flat major 1, we go down a half step. Now, this is interesting. This chord right here, the C9 sus chord, is kind of a magic chord in a way, because you get to go anywhere you want with those types of chords. When you have sus chords, they're so suspenseful. They have such suspense in that they're unresolved, and they can go in all kinds of different directions. So you can use sus chords to change keys, to modulate quickly, especially when you have chords like this, where you have the 4 on top. That makes a big difference, actually. The voicing does help. If you notice, if you go into the Great American Songbook, and you look at tunes that modulate, like All the Things You Are, for instance. So the bridge in All the Things You Are goes like this. Now check this out. That note right there, that is, well, now technically this is an F sharp minor 11 chord, but it's very, very similar to what I did before. If you leave out the A, for instance, this is pretty much like this. This is my chord here, and this is the chord in all the things you are, that then goes to B7, followed by E. So the point of all of this is that if you want to do a modulation, try a sus chord or a minor 11 chord. They're very similar, and put that 11 or that 4 on top, however you want to think about it. Okay, let's keep going. So we resolve from the C sus to the 1. Now this is why at the beginning I said this song is kind of in the key of F major, because we're finally resolving somewhere. You know, yes, we do start at the G flat major chord at the beginning, but as soon as we play that chord, we're moving to all kinds of different things. It's not until we land that we actually stay put for a while, and we do so with that bass line. So I would say this tune is in F major, even though it moves all over the place. Okay, so then it repeats. We don't have to talk about it a second time. The B section is a pretty common device, especially one that I like to use, where you're taking a chord and you're moving it down a minor third. Works great for major 7 chords, which is what I'm doing here. That's pretty much all there is to it. I'm just moving a major 7 chord down a minor third, and it sounds great. The final part is very similar to the B section. Instead of moving down a minor third, you're just moving down a whole step. And you're kind of hanging out on that D flat major chord until you get back to the G flat major, which is kind of interesting because that's you could think of that as 5-1. I'm not thinking about it as 5-1 because you are coming from a major 7 chord, not a dominant 7 chord. Like that has resolution. But this doesn't have as much resolution. What I think really makes this whole vamp sound cool is the bass line. I haven't done too much bass line action in previous posts, but I thought it'd be fun to throw one in here. So it's not that complicated though. It's, like I said before, just that 1-5-1 over and over again. I'll just play the bass line by itself. And then that repetition releases into this. And then it repeats. We do it down a minor third in the B section. It's developing an idea. You know, I'm always talking about repetition, and that's what's happening here. I'm repeating that pattern. I'm repeating this pattern. I'm even repeating the pattern at the end. Yeah, bass lines don't need to be complicated, but if you have an interesting amount of syncopation, which this certainly does, you can take simple ideas and make them sound really cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I haven't done too much jazz in the past, but if you guys enjoy the jazz stuff, let me know and we'll do some more of that. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.